Hello and thanks for joining me. We've got another driving test. Again, it's here in Shrewsbury, so it's in the morning. Nice clear day there, sun's in the rise a little bit, but it's one of those things you just have to put up with, I'm afraid. So what we're doing is now we're going on a driving test, and you can be able to see exactly what's going on and what it is that they've got to put up with. We can't record what's happening inside of the car, so you can't see the examiner, you can't see the candidate. There's no audio on it either, so you'll just be listening to me, as we're not allowed to record inside the car at all, but you'll be able to see where they go and what they get up to. So the examiner, after they've done the eyesight check and then the questions they usually ask at the beginning of the test, then of course you'll start to move off. During the test, we've done it here now straight away, they'll ask you to pull up and stop on the left hand side. Now they'll ask you to do this quite a few times, so no sooner we've left the test centre on this one occasion, we've been asked to pull up and stop. So what the examiner is looking for there is use of mirrors, signalling, making sure that they can pull away safely. So what that means is not forgetting to knock the indicator off. So when you've stopped, make sure that you have cancelled that left hand down indicator. And then before you move away, making sure you've done all the relevant checks. Not looking in your mirrors is not enough. You need to always remember that blind spot check. You must be particularly careful to remember that one, because if you're just relying on the mirrors, I'm afraid you might be in for a nasty shock at the end of the test, even though you've driven, reasonably well. So we're driving off down here, as you can see, passing all these cars and vans here, coming to the end of the road. So we'll look, turning left. There they are, the park right on the corner. So be careful here, because there might be something coming the other way, so they will be on the other side of the road, they'll be on your path, so you do have to make sure that you check. So that's one of the faults that's on a driving test, is not checking left before you turn left. That's one thing you've got to do. Where a lot of people, and you'll see people doing this a lot, well, I see them anyway, and as they're coming up to the end of the road, they want to turn left, so they're looking over to the right, they see that it's clear, and they just drive straight out. Well, what if anything's parked? What if anything's overtaking? It's all this what if. So that's the thing that you need to be able to be aware of, is what's happening with that. You need to be aware of that. So always making sure you're checking to the left. So let's have a look. Pull up and stop on the left hand side, somewhere safe, convenient. Where they've stopped here, and there is nothing really wrong with it as such, it's a nice big wide road, but if you look over to the right there, you'll see there's an entrance there, so anything coming out might present a little bit of a problem. So again, they're asking the candidate to move off. Again, mirror checks, looking over your right shoulder, moving away. Again, can I just reinforce, make sure you have cancelled that signal, because you don't want to be leaving there on. It's just a matter now of just following what the sat-nav or what the examiner may ask you to do. I think at this particular moment, let's have a look. I can see, yes, there is. They're driving off the sat-nav, so the sat-nav is now directing them. The sat-nav will last for about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, and then the examiner will give them normal directions from then on. So the sat-nav would have said at the roundabout, turn right, third exit. So again, we're coming up to the roundabout, the mirrors, the signal, making sure that you've got the mirror signal routine in place. So going around the roundabout, important now, left-hand door mirror, and then indicate left. Checking your interior mirrors, so that you know what's happening at the back of you. Now the speed limit then is a national one, so get your speed up, pull the car away. As you can see in this clip, the candidate's doing really well. The speeding the car up, and they're going on there quite nicely. Can you fail for going too slow? Yes. If you can imagine driving down here doing 25 to 30 miles an hour, there would be a bit of a problem, because you would be holding traffic up unnecessarily. If there was a long queue of traffic because of roadworks, well, that would be a different kettle of fish, because the candidate would not have been holding everybody up. It would just be the fact that if you drove down there for no good reason at that speed, that would result in a fail. Can you fail for going too fast? Well, the speed limit is 60, so you mustn't go above it. It doesn't mean that you have to do 60. You can only drive at a speed that is appropriate to the traffic conditions at that particular moment in time. So what the examiner is looking for is making progress as you're driving along. So we're leaving the roundabout now. Again, left-hand door mirror check, getting the speed up, remembering those mirrors, the importance of mirrors, because you've got to be checking the mirrors before you speed up and mirrors before you slow down as well. So there we are, we're driving off and we're making, really good progress down here. One of the questions that people ask me, are there quotas for pass and fail? And the answer is no, there isn't. It's all hearsay and it's a load of rubbish. What people come out with are just excuses. If you're not successful, it's simply because you've done something that is compromised road safety. It's all the examiner's got to be satisfied is that you're safe to continue learning on your own. That's all it is. It doesn't mean when you've passed your test that you're an expert driver. You're still exactly the same as what you were when you went for your test. Nothing's changed. It just means on that particular occasion you've demonstrated that you have the skills which will enable you to continue learning on your own. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything else. I think a lot of people always think that once they've passed the test everything's hunky-dory, but I'm afraid it isn't. It's only part of your learning. Learning to drive is an ongoing thing. I don't profess to know everything. I don't. There are things that I can come across even after my length of experience driving on the roads. There's things that come along and can catch me out sometimes. It's just all part of learning, I'm afraid. So we'll come up to the roundabout. So again, making sure that you're approaching the roundabout at a correct speed. So in other words, you don't want to be harsh braking. You don't want to be standing on the foot brake. You want to be braking progressively, getting your mirrors and your signal routine in good time. You need that. You need then to be able to select the correct gear, making effective observations at the roundabout, and then proceeding on your way and steering a nice steady course around the roundabout. So we've come up to those couple of roundabouts and we've dealt with them all right. So we're back into the town again, really well built up area, isn't it? That's the thing there. Now we've got here something parked up on the side of the road. So the first thing is mirrors. That's vitally important. The other thing is get your car positioned right over into the centre. Now the camera in my car, this video camera that you're watching right now, is positioned on the left hand side, on the passenger's side. So if the camera was positioned to the right hand side, you'd have a better view. So this is not giving this only gives a picture of what the examiner sees, what the passenger sees. It's not exactly on the right hand side where the driver would be sitting. So you've got to get the car right over to the centre of the road. That's your position for overtaking. The problem is that if you swing too far left, you don't get a good view of the road ahead, so you can't tell if it's safe to proceed or not. So again, straight ahead at the mini roundabout. Mirrors again before you slow down, mirrors before you exit the roundabout, mirrors before you speed back up. No one at the zebra crossing, the pedestrian crossing there. So that's one thing you have to be careful of, is if they're standing at the pedestrian crossing, you do have to be aware of the fact that they could press the button at any one moment in time, and they might change straight away, they might not. Where are we going here? I think we're turning right here. So again, giving way to the van. Notice how the car has slowed right down, but it hasn't stopped. It hasn't done an abrupt stop. It hasn't. And that's good progressive braking. And that's a skill whereby you can approach a roundabout in a nice steady speed, and then simply select the correct gear, and then away you go. Now, as I said, the examiner will ask you to stop on the left quite a few times. Now, they've just asked the candidate to pull up and stop on the left, safe, convenient place, but unfortunately, I don't know if you notice, you can rewind the video, but they've stopped right next to a stationary vehicle. The candidate has thought about that and thought, oh, I better not stop here. So then they've started to move off again. So as you can see, they've moved off into a place which is much more suitable. So that's fine, that's okay. So again, moving away. Dealing with the roundabout again, going straight ahead, no doubt. This will be the third exit, is it? Or second exit? I'm not sure on that particular one. There is one of them where there's a road that's right over to the left hand side and it's hidden out of the way. Just watching for anything that might just be popping out of you. You know, what you've got to be looking for ahead there is pedestrians, cars pulling away from that position than they could do. There's the zebra crossing. So again, you know, scanning either side of the road so that you're aware if there's anyone standing there or not. Again, the stationary vehicles, mirror checks, particularly the interior mirror, then the right hand door mirror. What you're looking for is, are you being overtaken, say for example like motorbikes and cars even. Now this next turn is interesting. If you have a look now, you'll see the van, it's just there now and it's going backwards. He spotted us. You see the reversing lights on, he's just taken them off. But now notice how the car, our car, is under control. What's happened there is the pupil there, the candidate that's on the test there, has demonstrated the skills of being able to get the car to slow the car right the way down to a virtual standstill. They've worked it out, and that because they've got control over the clutch and control over the steering, they can maneuver the car around, and that's what they can do. They can do that. Now this one, the examiners asked them to pull up and stop, and what they want them to do is the emergency stop. And what they'll do is they'll give them a signal, and what they'll do, they'll shout the word stop and put their hand up. They will check at the back to make sure that it's safe before they do it, and there's your emergency stop that's just done. Now the important thing now is secure the car. Now before you move off again, make sure that you've checked to the left and make sure that you check to the right blind spots, because you've got a normal road position, which means that you can get something up the side of you. Again, mirror checks before you overtake. And we're going to be turning right. So again, notice how slow we're going. We're rolling up. We're just rolling very gently. We're hardly, all the speed's gone. There's no harsh braking. It's not sudden. It's very smooth and it's very controlled. And if you can do that, you're simply a breath of fresh air to an examiner. I can assure you of that. No one wants to be chucked around in a car. Again, we're going to be turning left here. If that pedestrian was to step off the pavement, then they would have had to have given way to them. Again, up to the white line there, looking both ways. Again, if you noticed, the car was going very, very slowly. That gives the candidate an opportunity to look. The idea of a give way is that you're having a look to see if you've got to stop. You're not stopping to have a look. And that's an important point. You're not going up to the end of the road and stopping. What you're doing is that you're approaching the junction, the give way there, and what you're doing is you're going at such a speed whereby you can slow right down and take effective observations before you start to proceed and move out. The vehicle there just spotted an opportunity and thought, right, I'll accelerate away. What they tend to do is spot the L plates. So they look over, they see the L plates, and then they start to go. L plates, it's red rag to a bull, I've always thought. So we're going straight ahead here. Next roundabout, we'll be going straight ahead towards the town centre. It's Heathgate's roundabout, this one is, and this is the one that you do have to be careful on. This one. So you're using the right hand lane, so there it is, the road marking says town centre. So you're in there. Again, approach the roundabout, bringing the speed down, selecting the correct gear, looking over in good time. Notice how we've approached it nice and slowly, and then we're in the correct gear. We pull away just like that. Round we go. Now this is the important bit. Check that left hand door mirror now. Now you need to get over into the left hand side. Oh look, Morris 1000. Crikey, that's going back a bit. My day that was. Yes, so that box junction there, you do have to be careful of that. If there's anything, if the traffic is backed up to the end, then you would need to stop. Even if you're on the roundabout, you do have to stop. So again, we're still in a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's things that just crop up. A bit like that vehicle that was backing up. Who'd have thought that? You know, you're on a driving test and then you've got a vehicle that's, you're just turning left. And there's a vehicle there and they're backing up straight at you. It's how you deal with it. We can argue all day long they shouldn't have been doing it, and I agree with that. They shouldn't. But the point is, it's how do you deal with it? And the candidate there, they did deal with it all right anyway. So again, ahead at the roundabout, second exit. Don't forget that left-hand door mirror check. Mirrors again. Okay, so roundabout coming up, going left at this roundabout. Anticipate what you may find round the corner. You can never tell. As it happens, there's nothing there, but there could have been. That's the point. You can never tell. You always have to be on your guard, I'm afraid. Always. Yeah, well, that vehicle's far enough away. The vehicles are parked both sides of the road. We're a little bit closer to it than what the other vehicle was. So we've got a free passage through there. If he'd have come barging through, then obviously we'd have to deal with it and stop and give way. Like here, see there, the cars are parked on the right-hand side. The van coming the other way was committed. So as all the candidate has done is adjusted the speed, slowed it down, allowed it to go through, and then away you go. Again, pulling up and stopping on the left-hand side, please, in a safe, convenient place. Move off when you're ready. You'll get that. Look how many times we've stopped on this particular one. So again, mirrors, all input and shoulder check, and away you go. In a moment, what you'll have is a bend, bit of a hill, and there's cars parked up there next to there's some factory units just here. So you always have to be careful of some of the bigger vehicles that might be coming at you. This is a part that you do have to be careful of if you're ever going down there. Okay, so end of the road, and we're going to be turning left. Oh well, we've stopped a bit too soon there, but the thing is, there's a stop sign. Well, that simply means it goes right to the very end and stopped again. Well, that doesn't matter. It's not affecting anyone, but what you need to do is go right to the very end of the white line like that. Go right to the very end. Now stop. And then we're just waiting for a safe gap. Just here, just up the road where we're going, there's roadworks there, so there's temporary traffic lights. Stop signs. The main thing is stop. Do you have to put your handbrake on? The answer is no. You don't have to. If you feel comfortable putting your handbrake on, by all means put your handbrake on. When should you use a handbrake? Well, if a pause has turned into a wait, then you need to apply your handbrake. So, for example, on a stop sign, if you're not having to wait, if you just have to stop for a moment, look both ways, and you're under control, you can actually just stop. You don't have to apply your handbrake as long as you're under control. If you put your handbrake on, it doesn't matter. It just means that you're putting your handbrake on and you're having to just release it straight down again. That's all it is. If you're coming up to a give way and you're having to wait, so you've checked either way and you're having to wait for a moment, and it's just a car come in or two, do you have to put the handbrake on? The answer is no. But if there's a stream of them, do you have to put the handbrake on? The answer is yes. If you're waiting for any length of time, your handbrake should be applied. So these are these roadworks now, so we're going underneath the railway bridge, and then we'll be turning right in a moment. When you go under the bridge here, because most modern cars today, they have these automatic headlights. So what will happen is that when we go underneath the bridge, what will happen is it'll switch the headlights on. It'll switch them on because it's dark there. It's detected that. I mean, some of this stuff that's on modern cars now, I mean, the driver aids, I don't really particularly like them because I do believe it's taking the skill away from the driver, and the driver should be skilled in the motor vehicle. See how the guy there has got his foot on the foot brake? Well, at night time that would be dazzling you. So that's where you would need to apply your handbrake rather than just keeping your foot on the foot brake. So it creates rear end dazzle. So if you're waiting any length of time, your handbrake should be applied. And you don't want to be sitting there with your foot on the foot brake at night time. You should be putting your handbrake on if you're waiting for any length of time because of rear end dazzle. The amount of times you see it though, you'll see it, you'll notice it as you drive around yourself anyway. People got the foot on the foot brake. So we're turning right, and then we're turning right again. Now beware, cyclists, pedestrians, you can go, but you've just got to thread yourself through there. That's fine. So the van driver's giving way to him. He's saying, yep, you can go, but again check to the left because there could be a motorbike, cyclist, another car coming, anything, you don't know. So always make sure that you're slowing right down, having a look up the inside so that you're aware of it. So there you are. So you just have to deal with things like this. You see how he's just manoeuvring into the parking space. So it's just a matter of slowing the car down, mirror checks, mirrors before you slow down, mirror checks again before you pass it. You know, being aware these things can happen, and they do happen. As I said before, it's how you, the driver, deals with it. So look, lights are staying in your favour. Yeah, straight ahead. That's fine. That van there, that door could open all of a sudden, and it again, you have to think of things like that. The next roundabout, we're going straight ahead at. Now this one, this particular roundabout, slow it down a bit more because the visibility to the right is not all that good. So a vehicle that's coming up from the right, they'll be, if they're turning right, they'll be looking over to the right hand side, and the visibility for them is very good, so they'll just start to go at speed. But where we were coming from, it wouldn't be apparent to us, so we need to slow down and have a good look, make sure that there's nothing coming up. Okay, again, it's just before you move out, mirrors, most important. There's the Pelicans crossing, no one on either side of it, so you know, and the lights are in your favour, so you can proceed. The roads, as you can see, are fairly quiet, really. There's nothing much on there. It's not like dense traffic. You'll get the odd bit where you've got, especially if you're going down the bypass. If you look at some of my other videos, you'll see where we're going down the dual carriageway. And there's cars and lorries, everything everywhere there is. It helps if you've got a road like this, and it does help if you've got some nice driving conditions, like it's dry. When it's raining, you've got those wipers going at you. You know, it sometimes mists up. You know, you're having to deal with all sorts of things, spray coming up, and you've got all of those sorts of challenges to deal with. But when it's conditions like this, these are pretty much ideal, really. It's not blinding sunlight, but it's just bright enough. So the speed limit is now altered. It's now 40. So they've just picked the speed up just a little bit, you know, in recognition that you can go a little bit quicker. So we just increased the speed a little bit, and that's the correct thing to do. As you're driving along as well, they may ask you to sound your horn, or they could say, could you show me when it's safe to do so, how you'd wind your window down, or how you would switch on your dipped headlights, or how you would demist the rear window, or how you would demist the front window. These are the show me, tell me questions. They show me questions on the test, so you need to be aware of where those are. You need to go through them as well. They're on the government site. You can go through them, and then it means that when you go for your driving test, you're well versed in it and you know what's coming up anyway. I suppose that's the beauty of watching some of these videos. At least you can see exactly what is happening and where you may go. I'm not saying that it's going to be exactly like this, but it'll give you an idea of where you may end up going at some point. And we're going to take the next road on the right. So there we go. Oh yeah, we are. We're nicely into the protected turn right. So again, keep your eye on the mirrors, making sure that you're not cutting the corner off. Don't turn in too soon, which we haven't. That's great. We're still in a 40 mile an hour speed limit. We're still in it. So there you are, the speed limit's changed again, so the speed limit is now 30. So down to 30 now. Okay, so we're going to take the next road on the left. It's okay, remembering mirrors first, then your signal, slowing the car down, getting that second gear in good time, and then making sure your clutch is up, no holding the clutch pedal down, the clutch has got to be up. And then we're going to go left up the roundabout. Again, nothing coming from the right, the road's clear, continue on your way. Now we're going to be turning here. Right, so this is where you'll get a reverse exercise, a manoeuvre, a parking exercise. Now, they may ask you to reverse in, or they may ask you to drive in. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, we're driving in. Notice how smooth and controlled the car is, keep it in between the white lines. Oh, there's our reflection. You can't see who it is anyway. And now, once the car's parked up, the examiner will now ask you to back out. Now, what the examiner is looking for now, are you under control? Are you paying attention to what's happening around you? In other words, are you looking through that back window? Are you aware of your surroundings? And that's the thing that you need to be aware of. And obviously, as far as the parking is concerned, are you within the white lines? Well, there, that was a front bay park. But they could ask you to do a reverse bay park. But again, it's just getting the car in between, you know, the white lines. That's all it is. Again, they're looking for the fact that, is it reasonably accurate? Are you under control? And are you paying attention to what's happening around you? Okay, so we're coming up to the test centre now. So the driving test is over. This test ended up being a pass. So you can see exactly what happens on a driving test. I hope you found it useful. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. It just helps me and helps other people because we can be found, and it does help people. Oh, look at that. Right at the very end of the driving test, and there's a lorry right there. You couldn't make it up, could you? And even at this point, you could fail if you didn't react correctly. So we're turning into the test centre car park. Just going to make sure that you're safe, being under control, and then you're just parking up and finding a suitable place to park up. And there you are, that's one driving test, and in you go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again on another video.